So let's get to this. Let's make this happen. Let's do this and let's make it work, right? Something. Well, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what time you are listening, watching, or whatever it is that you're doing with this information you're interacting with. This is your boy, Mukhtar Muhammad. Well, I am the host of this said podcast, or else it would be weird if it wasn't, because it's my podcast. But hey, to each his own, I guess. I don't know what else to do on that. But today we are going to discuss the aspect of communication. All right, more so the difference between hearing versus understanding. Yeah, it's just not just about the words you hear. It's more about the understanding of the message. All right, and we're going to explore on that today together and pay attention. Hopefully I don't lose you, because some of y'all, have small attention span, and let's do this. And that's why we're here. All right, because the more we know to communicate as adults, the better it is for us to interact with other adults with said common sense and durability of maturity. Which, when it comes to communication, it's just not about the whole talking, because you could exchange words all day, every day. Because this key concept of understanding a person, actively listening to a person, being open-minded to the said conversation, avoid interrupting, taking feedback. There's nonverbal communication. All right, being empathetic, and again, understanding goes all of that. But again, we're going to dive in a little bit on each of those things I just mentioned. Not trying to make it too long or too boring. Just get to the point. Because some of us, we have zero attention span, and we are not going to do that today, right? So, stay tuned. And let's do this. Active listening. Active listening is you giving your full, undivided attention to the person you're talking to. You nodding yes, and providing verbal cues to show that you're engaging. Making eye contact, focusing on that person while they are conveying a message to you. All right. Understanding just beyond hearing the words. Understanding what the person is saying, comprehending the message. All right. Whether it's, reading between the lines, in context, or content, or context, or whatever it is that you are dealing with there and then. Understanding. On top of that, you putting yourself in the speaker's shoes emotionally, understanding their feelings, and responding with, sensitive response. Being sensitive with the person, being empath, having a little empathy towards the person. Because one of the things we struggle with as today's adult is that we don't listen. We don't give the person a chance for us to understand. We just bark at the person, especially if they say something that we dislike. We just attack, we deflect. And that's where most of our miscommunication comes from, because we don't give the person a chance to even for us to listen, trying to understand and what it is that they're trying to say. There's nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication means when you communicate without using words. I don't know why I had to dumbify that, but it's out there. So it's using your body language, whether it's, pointing at something, shrugging your shoulder, or making, facial expressions, whatever you're doing, that you're showing that, hey, I'm here. I'm paying attention. I'm listening to you. All right? Because sometimes body language play significant role as much of just actively listening and understanding. All right? It opens interest, openness. Again, we go back to understanding, because what is going on with my phone? I love when I'm famous only when I'm doing something, but the other times nobody wants to call me. That's crazy. But yes, nonverbal communication, significant role in conveying interest, openness, and understanding. We keep nitpicking on the whole understanding things, because sometimes we either read too much into something or not pay attention at all. Feedback. Responding appropriately to the person that you're talking to. All right. Whether it's a verbal confirmation, a thoughtful, or asking questions that you're trying to understand, that shows that you're trying to understand the information that they're giving you, that you're trying to grasp the concept of what is this going on, especially, of set conversations you're having. It could be any particular situation, as long as conversation is brought in. And then we go back to what I said at the beginning. We don't even give people the chance without us deflecting negatively, without us barking at the person back, without us yelling and screaming, because of most of the time the information is negative towards us, or is not good to us, because it makes us look a certain way to the other person's eyes without us trying to understand what's going on. Because the feedback is where that comes in. So you're trying to understand instead of you deflecting. And also let the people talk. Let them finish. And then trying to go back to understanding what it is that they're saying. All right. Avoid interrupting people. Because sometimes, we love to talk so much, we just talk on top of the person without us understanding what it is that they're trying to say, without us understanding to the message until they get to the conclusion of their point, without us paying attention, understanding the person. All right. Avoid interrupting somebody. Allow the speaker, whomever that is that you're having the conversation with, to go through their whole conversation. Okay, let them finish everything they say. All right, that shows a sign of respect and willingness to understand their perspective, without us jumping to conclusion, without us screaming and hollering, all of that. Sometimes interrupting, deflecting doesn't really have to be a screaming competition. It's just interrupting somebody that's in the sense of deflecting. And having a sense of openness, have a sense of mindfulness, have a sense, an open-mindedness. Because being receptive to different point of views, it shows a positive communication from you. Because everything that we talk to people about is not always something we agree with, but you're giving the chance their point of view. It shows that you are willing to communicate to a certain extent. It shows that you're willing to be understanding. You're willing to your willingness of maturity. All right. Be active listener. Be understanding. Have empathy. use nonverbal communication correctly, give and take feedback, avoid interrupting somebody, and be open-minded to different point of views that's not yours. Basic common sense information, yes. Basic intellectual information, indeed. But most of the time, we overlook the common information. We overlook the basic things. Because what is common sense to you is not common sense to somebody else. What makes sense to you will not make sense to somebody else. Which most of the time, what is the basic knowledge for you, it is not basic knowledge for somebody else. And which, as big and old as we are right now in 2024, we don't even have the comprehension of basic communication. People cannot have serious conversations. People cannot have uncomfortable conversations because people lack the maturity of understanding, of active listening, the maturity of mindfulness, the maturity of putting yourself in somebody else's, feelings and an emotional state, the understanding, which requires a sense of maturity. We don't have all of that. People cannot have serious conversations because people are not mentally matured, in which communication falls in under personal growth. And personal growth falls in onto maturity. I could go in all day on this, but our attention span after like 10 minutes is be it. So, in conclusion, hearing versus understanding, having communication, all right, from the art of active listening to decoding nonverbal cues, addressing misunderstandings, and the power of clarification. Feedback, the power of clarification. Remember, it's not just about what we hear. It's about grasping the information of said message. If you have thoughts of anything that I mentioned today, feel free to comment anywhere this is posted. I'll repeat it again and I'll change it a little bit. It is not about what we hear. It's about grasping the essence of the information we receive. It's not about what we hear. It's about grasping the essence of the information that we hear. All right. Yeah, that's it. Well, until next time, this is your boy Mukhtar Muhammad. Well, hey, thanks again for joining in. Thank you again for, listening over here. Do as you please. Let's grow up.